Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May. Welcome to Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a business and life that they truly love. My name is Erica. I'm your host. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach, lash educator, and social media manager for salons and beauty businesses. I'm so happy that you're here. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Welcome to this week's episode of Lash Biz Babes. This is one of our first episodes of 2026 and definitely our first guest episode of the year. I'm so excited to have my friend Broox with us. So she's been a practicing esthetician in Billings, Montana for over 9 years. The lack of educational and networking opportunities for our industry in the area was a real problem in her eyes. Finding community and continuing education not only makes us better at our craft, but relights that spark and passion for our careers. 3 years ago, Broox started Montana's first annual trade show for the beauty industry, Montana Esthetics Conference. So welcome, Broox. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you, Erica. I'm so excited to be here and just to definitely get the news out about this trade show and explain as to why I started it and why this industry in our region needs it.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about your backstory, like how you got started in the industry and what all that you do.
This October 2026, I will officially have been an esthetician for 10 years. When I got started 10 years ago, I went to beauty school in Billings and stayed in Billings. I did not grow up here. I'm originally from Livingston, Montana. But yeah, so I just got started here 10 years ago, decided to stay and building a set of clientele in Billings, Montana. I would say that when I first started, I did every single service under the sun that an esthetician was licensed to do. I did lash extensions, I did facials, I did brows, I did all waxing from head to toe. And then 5 years in, I decided to hone in and specialize and really do the things that brought me the most amount of joy, which was brows. There still is brows, obviously. So my business name, my aesthetics business is Bees Brows.
I love it. And that's so awesome to hit 10 years. That's like a big milestone in this industry, I feel like.
I know, it's really good. I actually saw a statistic recently that less than 20% of us make it past 5 years.
That's so crazy. But I mean, that's why we need the continuing education and the support like the Montana Aesthetics Conference, because I feel like it's that kind of stuff that really helps people and keeps them going. So with that, you've built your business in a rural area. What has that experience been like? I always get people asking like, what do I do to build in a small town? They feel like it's impossible because it is a small town. So I wondered what your experience with that has been.
I definitely feel like my experience was different than what someone might be going through now, only because the industry was so much different 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I never consider myself old, but then when I say things like that, I'm like, wow, I am old. But 10 years ago, really the only kind of social media was before and after pics side by side on Facebook. I mean, Instagram was hardly an advertisement tool 10 years ago. So when I started building clientele in that kind of in a rural area, and granted, I'm also very fortunate. Billings is the largest city in Montana, so my struggles are nowhere near as large as most. But I made sure to start in a salon that had a lot of women that worked there. So I think there was over 10 women that worked in the salon I started at. So when they're like, yeah, we have this new esthetician, she offers this minutes, you should go check her out. So that really helped build my clientele. Like word of mouth in a rural area is huge. And then I always made sure Because obviously, like when you first start out, that really can't be your primary source of income. You're definitely not making enough right away. So, granted, everyone's financial situation is different, but I waitress, I worked retail, like other jobs that included other women. And so then I always made sure like my brows look good, my lashes look good. So when I had a coworker or a customer at a table that I was waitressing, and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, they would compliment me, and I'd have a business card ready to go. I don't really know how much the modern, like freshly graduated student uses business cards anymore. I feel like it's definitely lessened over the past 10 years, but that really, really helped me out. Just business card distribution with other women that I would meet. The women connection, like I said, word of mouth goes hand in hand. It's a big deal. Really great way to build clientele at the beginning. And I was also never afraid to discount my services. Every single month, I think for the first 2 years, I had a monthly special. Women see a sale, women see a giveaway, they see a special. It makes them want to kind of buy it that much more, knowing it's on sale. Let's try it out. So I always like to tell students, don't be afraid to discount your services in the beginning and run specials and pay for those advertisements on social media, for Facebook, for Instagram, because they do a really great job of targeting those in your area. So that even though those women in your rural community might not necessarily know about you or have heard about you yet, those advertisements will pop up on their social media timeline and then they'll find out about you. Especially if it's like a sale or a special. They'll want to spend their money and try someone new when they know it's discounted.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, obviously, I haven't built a clientele where I'm at right now because I'm not offering like hands on services currently.
Mhm.
But I live in like a pretty small town, like 10,000 or less people. And I feel like business cards are still prevalent in smaller
Yeah.
areas. With my husband's electrical business, like obviously it's a different industry, but it's the same, like it's a service-based business. We're trying to reach local people, right? And like the community boards where you like leave business cards on the boards, like people stop and look at those. Like those are a big
Yeah,
thing in our area at least. And so
absolutely.
we've left business cards on those and literally had people call us from them like, "Oh yeah, I got your business card off the bulletin board at the gym." Sometimes the rural areas, the smaller areas, I feel like they're sometimes like years behind in I don't want to make it sound bad because it's not a bad thing, but like years behind as far as like wherever like other bigger towns and like modernization is. So, like, sometimes these older school, like, marketing tactics and things that we did in the past to build can still work in these areas.
Yeah,
But I totally agree. I think word of mouth is huge in smaller areas. And I think that's so smart that you were like, okay, I got to make sure my brows look good, my lashes look good, and like being a walking billboard basically for yourself
absolutely.
in your area. I love that. So, is there anything that you feel helped you build your clientele the most with being in a rural area? Or even like right now, feel things that you feel like are working well for yourself or for your students?
I would honestly say consistent social media posting. Like, especially like the modern consumer, they're not necessarily going to like the Google search bar anymore and typing lash artist near me, brow artist near me, Brazilian waxer near me. They're going to Instagram, they're going to Facebook, and they're typing Billings, Montana esthetician, Billings, Montana brows. So the more consistent you are with posting, the more you will pop up. So I feel like in today, the best way to gain clientele is being consistent with social media and making sure you show results too. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people kind of forget to, it's really easy to like do the self film and the videos and things like that, but you have to post work of your clientele. People want to see the results. You have to make sure you have varied clientele. I mean, I know it's also like another hard thing living in rural areas, but if you just shove like the same young 22-year-old that you've been working on, someone who's in their 30s, someone who's in their 40s, someone who's of a different like ethnicity, they're not necessarily going to have faith in you to work on their skin, their hair type, like, brow texture, their lash texture, if they think you can only work on like the young 22-year-old. So I think that's really important is making sure your social media page is varied. Granted, also don't post anything you're not comfortable with, but I think that's plays a big role as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like having the pictures of your work. I've asked people and are where we live now, like, hey, can I see, do you have pictures of your
Yeah.
work? She's like, oh, I have a couple pictures from a couple years ago. I'm like, oh, okay,
Like,
babe.
oh, it's
It's
still
nothing
do it
against her.
now.
I'm sure she's a great lash artist, but
Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just like, I want to see what your work looks like. Well, and especially with like lashes or things, I feel like that's a really long time in the difference that someone's skill set can make in that time frame. I don't
Hmm.
know. Anyway, I'm a pictures
Absolutely.
girl too. I totally agree. I think you need good pictures on your pages, but and especially with like Facebook and stuff, I feel like I've seen more of like those AI chatbot things in there that are like gathering response or like if someone's asking for a recommendation for like a lash artist or an esthetician, right? I've seen a lot of these groups where the AI chatbot will gather information that it finds on the platform and say, "Oh, these people are
Oh,
recommended the most." And, like,
okay.
gives the information. So I feel like where you're saying, like, consistent social media posting, staying consistent on there, I feel like that can even help you get picked up by, like, those algorithms
Yeah.
too of just, like, who's recommending you, and if you're consistent on there, then even, like, AI and stuff can pick up on that and recommend you to
Yeah.
others. So,
And I think
unfortunately,
too, it's like,
not everyone loves social media, but
and I get it. It's like, it's not
it's like
why
the
we
modern
became
word of mouth
estheticians.
almost.
Yeah, exactly. And social media is not why we became estheticians. Like, again, when I first started 10 years ago, it was just side by side before and after photos on Facebook. Like, that's really all I ever thought I had to do. And now we have to be filmmakers and video editors and all these extra things. Again, nothing to do with aesthetics or our craft, period. But it is just kind of how you're going to gain clientele and the extra mile that you have to go. So, yeah, part of the course.
Yeah, part of the job. I feel like there's things you can do to
Mhm.
make it easier for sure though. Were there any mindset challenges that you feel you had to overcome? And if so, what's one that you can share?
There's a couple, I would say, like, especially in rural areas, other estheticians are not your competition. I used to think that when I first started, not that like, this anger towards any others, but it was almost like, oh my gosh, I have to get every client and I have to hold on to them and I can't share. Like it was, because you didn't think there was essentially enough to go around. So you're just terrified to lose a client to anybody else. And even in rural areas, trust me, there's enough to go around. Like it's competition is absolutely not worth it. Other girls in this industry, men too, are not your competition. They're not. Like, community is so much more important. Like, support is key. And especially, like, I absolutely love this modern day version of an esthetician where we all have like a really specific service we're honing in on and specializing in. I know it kind of drives the consumer nuts that they have to go to a different esthetician for their brows, a different esthetician for their lashes, a different esthetician for body waxing. I know the consumer loved the one stop shop for the esthetician that did it all. But if you look at the results we give now compared to what we used to give, honing in is so much better. Like the results are better. The results, like the service overall is better. Our knowledge is better. So, especially now that, like I said, with the honing in, we're definitely not in competition with one another in rural areas. If anything, we can like use each other to refer. Yeah, I don't do lashes, but one of my like this other gal, other esthetician that I know does, or I don't do facials, but another esthetician that I know does. Like we can use each other. Like support is key. So that's like a mindset definitely to overcome is other estheticians are not your competition at all.
And that I feel like kind of goes hand in hand with feeling like the industry is saturated too. I feel like those can
Mhm.
kind of intertwine with each other. Like, oh, there's so many other estheticians and lash artists out there, and then that makes it feel like competition. But I like my lash business only grew and thrived more and more as I built a community of like local lash artists that I was
Yeah,
friends with and like,
exactly.
aesthetics girls and hairdressers
Hmm.
and stuff. Like it only helped my business grow and in turn helped them grow as well. So yeah, the community is really
Absolutely.
everything for sure.
Because, like, you have to realize, like, you're not going to be
Uh,
the esthetician for everybody, whether it's your pricing, your hours of availability, the type of like lashes you do, or type of style of any other kind of aesthetic service. So, being able to, yeah, I know you like Saturdays, but I don't work Saturdays, but I do know a gal that does. So, there's going to be an esthetician for everyone. And you also, it's like another mindset. it is okay that you are not the esthetician for everybody. No one has enough time in the world to be the esthetician for everybody. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And even just breaking down the numbers, like, oh, I just need 50 clients, or like, even in
hmm
a small area, where there's a few thousand or more people, it's like, oh, I don't really need that many clients to fill up
yeah,
my book. So that was something
exactly.
that really helped me as well.
hmm And I feel like another mindset, I might kind of like ruffle some feathers with this one, but with the phrase, the customer is always right. No, like, I'm sorry, they're not.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Like, and I think it comes from being like an individual self-employed owner where you have to protect your peace at the end of the day. Like, you have to be authentic to you. You're not there to like put up with crap that clients get you and like degrade you or, make like, I'm sorry, no, the customer is not always right. Yes, there's a level of professionalism to always keep at the end of the day, but just be you and run your business the way you want, and you'll attract the clients that like you for you and like the way you run your business. So that's a mindset that I had to get over starting a business 10 years ago was nope, the customer is not always right.
Yeah. And that's like so deeply ingrained sometimes with like customer service
hmm
culture. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a hard mindset to overcome,
hmm
but you kind of figure out like how to hold your boundaries while serving your guests still. At least that's how I
Yes,
felt. Just
absolutely.
like, yeah, you find your people. Yeah. Yeah, for
hmm
sure. So with that, burnout is something that a lot of artists and estheticians experience, especially when they're working solo. So when did you first notice that being an issue in our industry?
I noticed it when I realized the aesthetics class that was before me, the one I was in, and the one after me, there's only four of us left still operating. So that's when I kind of really
Yeah.
noticed a burnout issue was, oh my gosh, like all these girls I went to school with, like none of us are hardly around anymore in the industry. So, and like obviously there's like multiple different reasons, like life things can happen 1,000%, yes, but that's when I definitely noticed it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's very common, like everywhere too. Like not a lot of people, well, like we were saying, not a lot of people stick with it. And I think
Mhm.
burnout definitely plays a big role in that. So, what has helped you overcome burnout the most and like gain your spark back?
I would say change. Like someone has to be willing to embrace change. And there's tons of things you can change up. Like if you get stagnant and things aren't happening in a positive way, that's when you're going to start to get really burnt out. So like I kind of have like a list I always like to go through whenever I start to feel a little bit of a burnout. So one of them is hours. Are you working certain hours of the day that just aren't best for you, yourself, or your family? Like, are you working too many evenings? Are you working too many weekends? You need to cut that down. Would early mornings work better for you, or vice versa? Pricing, are you just not necessarily making enough money? Like, you have too much overhead. So, therefore, the clientele you are going in for, it's not necessarily worth your time financially. So, maybe you need to do change your pricing and create that service menu. Do you need to get rid of services that no longer bring you joy anymore, but you feel obligated to do? Or do you need to learn a new service, kind of spark something, get excited about it? I think that's definitely a great one. When you just like aren't really finding anything that's bringing you joy anymore, like try a new service out. It's something that that's really piqued your interest. Go for it. Like I was mentioning earlier, like this new age of estheticians, like honing in on special services. So if you hone in on like lash extensions or brows or facials, like learn a new technique, learn a new product line, anything like that. As the salon, are you in the right salon? You need to change your coworkers, you need to change the environment you're in, or do you even just need to like change your space up? You need to like redecorate, repaint, hang new decor, something as simple as that can make you like excited for the day when you're kind of in something new. Like, do you need to change your clients? Do you have clientele you enjoy? Do you need to fire some clients that stress you out? I know that's like the biggest like gut wrencher for all of us that have ever had to fire a client. But I mean, if you have people that are just really dragging you down, it's worth it. You got to protect your peace. And then change like social media. Like social media burnout's real. I know I just kind of went off about be consistent with social media, but at the end of the day, if it's something that doesn't bring you any joy, don't do it. I know plenty of successful artists that don't do social media and just go solely off word of mouth, or, they've had a built clientele for a while, that also helps. But maybe if you have the financial ability, hire someone to do your social media. If the social media is just, again, not bringing you any joy, or do you need to add a website because are you getting overwhelmed with the amount of like clientele messages you're constantly getting? That was a big thing I did for my business. Oh shoot, like 6 years ago. And it just is, I don't do online booking because I'm too type A. I don't like not being in control of my books. But just even having a website with my location, my hours of availability, my pricing, like that eliminates so many unnecessary client messages that you don't have to spend time doing. So I think that really helps too. So just kind of all those things I mentioned of change. You need to change something up. So I think that really, really helps with burnout.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you're saying like you've got to change something because I feel like
Hmm.
sometimes when I see people asking about burnout and what do I do, they're like, oh, just take a break or go on vacation, take a couple days off and get back at it, you'll feel so much better. And it's like, that's
That's not going to fix
great.
it.
But like, if you don't change anything, yeah, like if you don't change anything, you're straight back on the road to burnout. And it's just the same thing over and over again. Like, you have to change something, you have to make adjustments as you go. And I feel like every year it's going to be different. Or maybe it worked for you last year, but now this year you need to make some adjustments, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with you, like, you're not a bad business owner or a bad person or anything like
Absolutely.
that, it's just you just have to it's the evolution of your business, so that's was
Hmm.
all really good advice that you gave there.
Oh,
I
thank
love it.
you.
So with that,
Yeah.
since you host the Montana Aesthetics Conference, so what gaps did you see that made you say, like, "Someone needs to do this"?
I thought there's just a lack of community in our rural area. And community, I think, also helps with burnout. It helps you feel less alone. It's a natural human instinct to want to like be with others. It helps with validation and self growth, especially in estheticians. I mean, I know, granted, again, a lot of things have like changed. There's now like aesthetic houses, black bars, things like that. But in just my experience, especially 10 years ago, getting started, that you go to a salon, there might be like 5 or 4 hairstylists, 5 or 4 nail techs, and the one esthetician by herself in the back closed room. So I feel like that's like we're kind of the one in the industry that we don't necessarily have those other esthetician coworkers that we can like get really close with. We can like bounce ideas off each other. We can ask questions about, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? So I kind of just noticed like that was like where there's a really big gap is just a lack of community. And like we might follow each other on social media, but you always feel a little bit awkward with like, hey, I've never actually talked to you before, but I'm gonna message you and ask a question. So I feel like I really want to just like kind of break down those walls of not everyone like face to face knowing each other.
I love that, I think that's super cool, and it's like you said, especially with estheticians and lash artists, those who are kind of more isolated in their own little room
Hmm.
all day, like, that's a big
Yeah.
deal to have
Yeah.
community and have support, like, face to face in person for sure. Can you share, like, what your core mission is behind the conference and, like, what it stands for? Because I know you've talked about that before, like, I've seen you post about it, and I think it's super cool,
Yeah.
so I wanted you to share that
Yeah.
on here too.
Yeah. Core mission is to bring more opportunities for estheticians into this region. Just because we're rural does not mean we are any less talented or any less deserving than these opportunities that trade shows and just continued education forums present. I think that's like kind of another thing too. I'm really big on continued education. That's something that I always find brings me my spark back. It gets me just really excited about my services again. So, but every time I've ever taken a continued ed class, I have to get on a flight. And, like, yeah, doing your own travel fun. I do it all the time. But sometimes, like, when you're already paying so much money for the continuing education course itself, add all those travel expenses of flights and hotels, it adds up. So, granted, I also know people have to travel for this trade show as well, but just trying to at least present something a little bit more on the affordable side for this rural region.
Absolutely. Well, and even something that's just, like, slightly closer
Hmm.
because, yeah, like, our area, like, our states up here, like, there's
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, I would think the closest one's maybe, like, California or something, and even that is a bit of a journey to get over there from where we're at.
Yeah. I think the closest one is Vegas, I'm pretty sure. Vegas or Minneapolis, I would
Uh,
say. Yeah.
Which either way, I feel like it's a pain in the butt to get to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it
okay.
requires a
And that's
flight.
cool that this is an option now. How do you hope this event supports lash artists and estheticians, especially in rural areas?
Well, I would say like this year, actually, for the first time, because we've had like someone bring it up like a couple times last year, multiples approached me and asked me to do it. So I decided I was going to add it for the first time. We're actually having like a little mixer event on the first night. And again, the point of this conference is to make sure like all services are showcased so it can apply to any esthetician. Because I know we don't all offer the exact same services. But the guest speaker for this mixer is she's like an inspirational business speaker. So that obviously applies to everybody. It's not like about a specific service. It's about like marketing yourself and your business in today's world. And so then at this mixer, like vendors are invited, attendees obviously welcome. And so then this way it'll be like a great time. Like we'll get the night kicked off with this inspirational business speaker. And then everyone will kind of have time to like talk. Like, I mean, I hate to say network because it makes it sound so formal, and like not like a fun thing, but just get to finally get to know each other because that's kind of what the gals requested a lot for me last year. That I wish I had more time to, kind of meet with other people and talk with other estheticians and, just more of a created space for that. So I think that's definitely going to really help, like, kind of bring down those awkward walls with everybody so they can, as cheesy as it sounds, if everyone leaves knowing they made a new friend, I love that. Like my heart is so happy. So
Yeah, I don't think that's cheesy at all. I feel like when you go to events and it's like classes and speakers and stuff, like you don't really
hmm
always have time to sit there and talk with someone, have like a full on conversation other than a little bit of small talk. So I think that'll be such a great opportunity to let people really make real friendships, like real connections that will like
hmm
last and carry over after the event is over as well.
yeah.
So if someone's on the fence about attending an event like this, what would you tell them about going? Like, especially if they were like, oh, I don't want to go alone or,
hmm
those kinds of things.
Absolutely. I always like to say, like, something I absolutely live by when I'm nervous. I mean, heck, like, this is the first podcast I've ever done. I was so nervous. I'm like very excited, but also very nervous at the same time. I've never done anything like that. But so I like to remind myself,
You're doing
you're
great.
not, oh, thank you. You're not growing when you're comfortable. So do not be afraid to try new things. Like just tell yourself that, like if I'm doing something, but I'm uncomfortable, like business wise, you're growing your business. If you're doing it while you're uncomfortable, it will better you in the end. And again, like don't have someone to go with. Almost, I would say like 70% of the attendees come alone. Like there's a couple that come in pairs, come with another friend, but a majority of the attendees are there alone. They're there to learn. They're there, you just sit in your seat and you're there listening to speakers. You're just kind of traveling to vendor booths and shopping. I mean, every trade show I've ever gone to, I went alone. So just like, don't be afraid to think like you're going to look like a lame-o for coming by yourself. Almost everybody's there by themselves. You're there to learn and listen. And there's something there for everybody. So like there's skin, there's lashes, there's waxing, there's makeup, there's business, there's new brands to discover, or even like if you use that brand, how cool to like get to meet that brand rep for that region and build that connection. We have swag bags filled with tons of free goodies. I had over 40 brands donate to our swag bag last year. Like it's a really great way for brands that might not necessarily have the budget to come to our area because it costs so much to fly to Montana. But it's like, hey, like I think what you're doing is great. So here's like some free like product sample sizes, some coupon codes. Like I'd love for the gals in that region to get to know our brand better. And honestly, if nothing else, ladies, it's a tax write-off for your business. So
Very true, very true. I think all those things that you mentioned too are like absolutely on point, like with going to events by yourself and being outside of your comfort zone, because eventually at some point, like it's not outside of your comfort zone and it's just like second
yes.
nature for you. You're not thinking twice
hmm
about it. But like it doesn't get to that point until you put yourself out there first, which is the hard part.
Absolutely.
But even just like talking to people, like it's only uncomfortable until it's not. And then it's like, oh, okay, this is fine. Like they probably want to talk to
Exactly.
you too, but you're both scared. So someone just needs to say something.
Yeah, I love that.
So just kind of wrapping things up here, we always ask, or I always ask every guest if you have a favorite book that you've read recently, or if you've read one that's really impacted you. I don't know
Oh,
that
I
thing.
mean, I'm
Are you not
laughing
a book
because
reader?
No, I read books, but like serial killer murder mystery fiction book. So nothing like
Did any of them really
inspirational
impact
thing.
you?
I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily. Oh yeah, I'm a
Okay,
murder
well, that's
mystery book
okay.
reader, but I
Yeah,
appreciate the question
you
for probably
fit,
normal business owners.
girl. I feel like that just makes you fit right in
Oh,
the
okay.
industry because there's so many true crime girlies and
Hmm.
men in the industry who like love that. So I don't
Yeah.
think anyone's gonna judge you for that.
Okay, cool.
I love
I
it.
think too,
So
like, I think reading things,
where
like, I love to read. It kind of gets you, like, it's like the one time I don't have to think about businesses? So, hey, find books, find genres that
yeah,
give you your little escape.
fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Well, like helping with burnout, I feel like that's something too. Like
Yeah.
find some enjoyment in your reading.
Hmm.
I love it. Where can everyone find you and follow along on social media and get
Yeah.
like information about the event if they would like to attend?
Yeah. So for the Montana Aesthetics Conference, our Instagram handle is at NT Aesthetics Conf, like CONF is where that ends. And then the website is also in the bio of our Instagram. On Instagram, the website is ntestheticianconference.com. And then if I'm also like one of those really big people, like I don't gatekeep. I offer continuing education courses for estheticians. I mean, also like if you just want to message me and ask questions, I'm very, very open about it. I actually speak at some beauty schools in Billings once in a while for them to just have like any kind of industry questions. So if anybody has additional questions for just me, myself, that has nothing to do with the conference, my Instagram is at B_S browse. Website is beesbrowse.biz. So I'm also very open about just like industry health, period. So yeah.
Any last words of like encouragement for any estheticians or lash artists who are listening out there?
Yeah. Have multiple passions. I think that's a really big deal. I remember when I was first getting started, I had all this pressure on just my aesthetics business and what it needs to be, what it should be. All of my life had to like consume this essentially, like my one big career. This industry, it's mentally exhausting. It's rewarding. It's amazing when you have the right passion for it, but it is exhausting and burnout can happen faster and quicker when you're putting so much pressure on yourself. So just realize you're allowed to have more than one role in your life. You're allowed to have more than one thing in your life that brings you joy. So like that's obviously I have all my reasons that we discussed. That's why I started this conference, but I think this is like another route I wanted to take with my career. I coach high school kids in volleyball. I'm involved. I volunteer in my community, like not saying that you need to like stretch yourself thin. Everyone has their own limits and boundaries, but I just brought a lot more like hobbies into my life that bring me joy. So I don't have so much pressure on my career that I feel like increases that burnout rate, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, 100%. I really love that. I had to like I realized last year I girl bossed too close to the sun and I needed a hobby. So I think
I
that is
get
gold
that.
advice. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw this phrase where it was like, yeah, you want to be like booked and busy, but I'd rather be paid and peaceful. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I love that. I think I've seen that on
Hmm.
social media before too. So thank you so much for sharing that. This was
Yeah,
so much fun to have you on the show and, get to
absolutely.
talk
Happy to
about your
be
journey
here.
and what you're doing with the Montana Aesthetics Conference. Happy New Year. Thank you for being here.
You too.